DreAllDay.com.
Everybody, Dre Baldwin is my name. DreAllDay.com is the website. This stands for Work on Your Game. Today's topic, we're talking about quantities. Quantity of effort, quantity of production, quantity of thinking, quantity of ideas. We always hear this phrase, quality over quantity, right? Or quality versus quantity. And a lot of people like to, from what I hear, when people talk about this phrase, from what I hear, most of the time people would prefer, at least they say they prefer, quality over quantity. And some people give really good explanations for this. I'd rather do something really well one time than have to do it over again, or I'd rather have one masterpiece than have 10 X's widgets that are okay, or I'd rather take my time and make sure I know everything and do everything right instead of just going into something and messing it up and going through all the trial and error. And though there is merit in all of that, and there are strong reasons to support any of those arguments, and you have probably used these yourself. If not verbally, then you probably thought these things. Most of the time when people say something like, I prefer quality over quantity, they're using it as an excuse to not take action. This is the opinion that I'm sharing here. They use it as an excuse to not take action, as an excuse to delay, as an excuse to gather more information, as an excuse to not do something right now that they're nervous or afraid about doing, or insecure or unsure about doing. So they say, well, I want to make sure I get it right. I talk to people often who, as an entrepreneur, people ask me questions about cold calling. You know, I want to make cold calls, so they want to make sales. They want to generate more business, have more leads in their business, whatever their business happens to be. And I start talking to them about cold calling. Get on the phone, tell somebody who you are, what you do, and ask for the sale. That's all you got to do. Now, does that mean everybody's going to buy? Hell no. But you'll get some experience, some, what do I call it? Experiential knowledge, because you're actually taking the actions. But you got to get on the phone to do it to get that knowledge from experience. So you can't get experience without doing something. But people will say, well, before I do that, I want to make sure I have my script ready. I want to make sure I know what all my rebuttals are. I got to practice it a little bit. I don't want to jump right into it. I don't want to waste people's time. They come up with all these really good sounding excuses for why they won't start taking action, because the excuse is, I want to make sure I do it well instead of just doing it a lot. I'm here to, my argument in this video is that you need not only quality but also quantity in your life. It's not a quality and quantity are not an either or thing. They're not mutually exclusive. You are not choosing quality over quantity or quantity over quality. You are choosing a quantity of quality. That's what we're talking about here in this video. So now that I got that out the way, here's the first point. If you are really good at what you do, if you believe you are really good at what you do, that you have game, you bring a whole lot to the table and it is valuable, you should be doing it as much as possible to maximize your returns on that skill. That just makes sense, right? You ever heard the saying, somebody says you don't want to die with the music still in you? What exactly does that mean? Is that you don't want to let your life run out, or your opportunity run out, whatever that opportunity is, where you still have value that you haven't put out to the world, because now nobody's ever going to be able to get it. If you die with music in you, nobody will ever hear those songs. If you never take the stuff that's in your mind and put it in a format where people like me and you and whoever else can consume it and learn from it and benefit from it and can appreciate it, how can you ever get attention? How can you ever get appreciation? How can you ever make money? How can you ever start a business? You can't. You got to get it all out of you. So if you're really good at what you do, don't hold it back and only do a little bit. Do as much as you can and get it out there. And then maybe you can sift through and say, all right, these are the best. Maybe throw that away, maybe change this a little bit, but you got to get it out of you. Don't hold it back thinking, oh, well, I just want to make sure it's great. It's usually, again, that's just an excuse to not take action. Number two, what if you're terrible at what you're trying to do? What if you want to be a basketball player, but you suck at it? What if you want to start a YouTube channel, but you're not good at talking to the camera? You're not good at talking off the top of your head. You got to write down everything, and it's hard for you to remember what to say, and you mess up, and you got to do 12 takes of a video. And what if you're just terrible at what you do? You have no skill. You're trying to be a salesperson, but you're nervous talking to people. You start sweating as soon as somebody gives you 2 seconds of attention. What if you're just terrible at what you do? What do you do in that case? Should you go for quality or quantity? I already told you go for both. If you're terrible at something, you should be doing as much as you possibly can in order to get better. Now that point makes sense, right? When you're garbage, when I was garbage at basketball, I went to the court every day more than anybody in the neighborhood so I could get better at basketball. That was the only way I figured I could get better. It wasn't, oh, let me do one really great workout a week. No, it was let me do 10 workouts a week or 14, however many days I was going there more than once a day so I can get better. I got to try things. I had to do trial and error. I had to see how this works. Let me see if this will do something. I saw somebody else doing this the other day. Let me try that. I didn't have a teacher. I didn't have a program. I didn't have YouTube. I said, let me just do it as much as I can until I figure it out. When you are bad at something, you need to be taking way more action than the person who's good. The person who's good is doing something 10 times. You need to be doing it 100 times so you can catch up. First of all, you got to get some game. Then you got to maximize that game. You need to do it as much as possible when you suck. So if you think you're bad and you're waiting to get it right before you do anything, you have an incorrect formula that is not going to work. It's already not working, right? You don't have no game, like you said. Number 3. And today's topic again is the quality of quantity. What about overexposure? What if I do too much? Somebody might think right now, what if Beyonce was to make an album every year? It wouldn't be as valuable as it is now, because she does an album every 3 years, or she doesn't even tell you when she's gonna put out an album. It just comes up out of nowhere. Or what if she did all these shows? Her shows wouldn't be worth as much as they are because she's out touring so much. People could say, I'll skip this one and go to the next one. There are plenty of convenient reasons and excuses you could come up with for why you don't want to do a quantity of quality. But let me tell you this, and I'm not here to argue against it, because I can make the same arguments in the opposite direction, right? Anyone can make plenty of arguments on both sides. But here's the proposition that I'll give you then, since we're not going to just go back and forth on that, which could go forever. Would you rather, I'll give you a choice, would you rather burn out because you did so much of what you were good at that you just used yourself all up to where there was nothing left in you to be used up? You gave everything you had and got it out there. Would you rather that happen and you just run out of gas? Or would you rather, as they say, rust out? Meaning you sat around doing nothing, waiting until it was the right time, waiting until you got everything right, not wanting to overexpose yourself, all these bullshit phrases that people use. Would you rather rust out because you sat around and didn't use enough of yourself up, and then your time ran out, your opportunity ran out, and you couldn't use your skill anymore? If you could do one or the other, which would you rather do? Would you rather your car run out of gas because you were driving so much you didn't stop at a gas station, or would you rather your car not start because it sat in the parking lot so long that you never even used it? Which one would you rather have? Which one would you rather make the mistake of? Because you may make a mistake. Humans are imperfect, right? None of us is perfect. None of us is going to do everything perfect. So if you're going to make a mistake, which one would you rather make? Doing too much or not doing enough? And I'm going to leave it right there on that note. My name again is Dre Baldwin, website dreallday.com. Y'all know what it is. Work on your game.